any food can fit into a healthy diet, can fit into healthy eating patterns where the goal is meeting our nutritional needs, that we can achieve this goal of getting all of the nutrients my body needs from the foods that we eat while continuing to eat the foods we love.
Why do you believe that a plant-forward omnivore approach, i.e. Nutrivore, is best for our long-term health?
Math and science. So the knowledge base that goes into the Nutrivore dietary philosophy, which is just the goal of getting all of the nutrients our bodies need from the foods we eat. But when we approach food choice in that way, we kind of necessarily end up focusing on the same groups of foods that huge bodies of scientific literature show improve long-term health. So it's the same foods that are giving us lots of nutrients are also the same foods that are reducing risk of cardiovascular disease and cancer and type 2 diabetes and Alzheimer's disease and osteoporosis and osteoarthritis and chronic kidney disease, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And the reason why it's the same groups of foods is because the thing that is reducing the disease risk is the nutrients, right? Like it makes sense when you think of it like that. So the same foods that are packed full of really important nutrients that our bodies need, there's 49 essential nutrients. I find it ridiculous that fad diets so often simplify a healthy diet to like one thing, right? Like cutting out sugar, right? Cutting out fat, cutting out carb, cutting out, all of these foods that we're going to call toxic, right? We always kind of want to simplify it to one thing. We can't. There's 49 essential nutrients. Like our nutrition is complex because we are biologically complex. There's so much going on inside of us. So of course we need so many different raw materials to fuel all of those chemical reactions that are, the things that make us us. So part of Nutrivore is understanding that complexity. That complexity does not mean that eating a healthy diet is hard, because every food is providing us lots of different essential nutrients. So it's more about the patterns. It's about understanding, right? This group of foods tends to have these 10 things, and this other groups of foods tend to have these 12 things. And if we eat this much of this food and this much of this food, then that meets our nutritional needs. So the math that goes into this calculation is how many different ways can I choose foods and hit the daily value of all 49 essential nutrients? And it turns out a lot. I don't have an exact number for you. I haven't done, mathematical modeling to figure out exactly how many different ways. But I think that it's probably millions. It's probably millions of different ways of choosing foods that meets our nutritional needs. And that's really empowering information, because first of all, it focuses us on the quality of the whole diet, and we don't have to think about, is this a good food or a bad food? So if you think about it this way, my goal is that all of the nutrients in all of the foods that I ate throughout the day, all of that added up to meet my nutritional needs, right? I hit the daily value of all 49 essential nutrients, and I got plenty of all of those other non-essential but still super important nutrients, right? So that was what was guiding my food choice. Again, this food gave me 10 of them. This food gave me 12 of them. This other food gave me 6 of them, right? Like it's not like I have to eat 49 different foods per day, but it's more understanding those patterns that make sure I'm getting the full range of nutrients my bodies need. So I chose all those foods. I ate those foods, and it added up to meet my nutritional needs. Does it matter if one of the foods I ate did not contribute very much to that goal, right? One of the foods it had no nutrients. It just had a delicious flavor and joy, and it made me happy. And it made sure that I was enjoying my diet enough that all of the very nutrient-focused food choices that I made felt easy. Because if we're not getting joy from our diets, we're not going to be able to stick to it. Doesn't matter how healthy the diet is. Joy should be the 50th essential nutrient, in my opinion. So the math tells us it's actually pretty easy to meet our nutritional needs. If you follow the formula that I have created in my book, Nutrivore, or that you can get on my website called the Nutrivore Weekly Serving Matrix, this formula is for people who like formulas. It's not the only way to eat a Nutrivore diet and meet our nutritional needs. But if you follow that formula, it's about expediting that process, right? So it's about meeting nutritional needs as efficiently as possible to create as much room as possible for those quality of life foods, right? The foods that were not a lot of nutrients, but so much deliciousness. It's so much yum. Yep, I like eating that. I feel happy, right? Those foods. So the Nutrivore Weekly Serving Matrix is about getting to nutritional needs as quickly as possible to have as much room as possible for whatever else I want to eat. And depending on your energy needs, you can typically reach your nutritional needs with 50 to 75% of your calories, which leaves 25 to 50% of your calories for the deliciousness, for the amazing food. And that comes out of doing the math. That comes out of looking at the science that shows these are the really important healthy eating patterns, but it is absolutely okay to have a proportion of our diets be empty calories, for lack of a better term, quality of life foods. And when you start you look at that science, you start doing that math, you crunch all those numbers, you actually really quickly see that any food can fit into a healthy diet, can fit into healthy eating patterns where the goal is meeting our nutritional needs, that we can achieve this goal of getting all of the nutrients my body needs from the foods that we eat while continuing to eat the foods we love, while continuing to eat the foods that aren't particularly nutritious, but that supply us joy. So that math and that science that focuses, our food choices on these nutritionally valuable foods is about reflecting scientific consensus and nutritional sciences on what a healthy eating pattern is, right? How a day-to-day diet that will reduce my long-term risk of all the health problems, right? What that looks like. It reflects the math that goes into understanding, right? Where am I getting my nutrients from? What types of foods have what types of nutrients? How do I get this full range of 49 essential nutrients that my body needs? But then it's also about understanding the balance, the moderation, the place that foods that are just tasty and comforting. Maybe they're budget stretching foods, right? Maybe they're convenient, the thing that I can grab easily for breakfast when I slept in, or the thing that's super easy on a night where my kids have soccer practice and I'm not going to get home until late, right? Maybe it's also foods that add to my quality of life in that more like practical way and not necessarily just flavor way. But those foods can still actually not can they contribute to a healthy diet in a really important way. They're not contributing nutrients, but they're contributing sustainability, accessibility, affordability. They are contributing to the part where I can do this. I can maintain this. I can keep this up because I like the foods I'm eating. I still have something quick that I can eat when I'm running late. I still have the food that stretches my budget so I can afford all of these other things, right? Those foods are very, very important for making overall healthy eating patterns something we can sustain for the rest of our lives. And that is the goal. The goal of Nutrivore is to get all of the nutrients our bodies need from the foods we eat regularly as a long-term healthy eating pattern, as a lifelong healthy habit. And so we need to crunch the numbers, we need to do the math, and we need to look at the science about what a healthy eating pattern is to be able to inform those day-to-day choices. So Nutrivore is a very simple goal, but it's also like the nutritional sciences education that informs our day-to-day choices to help us reach that goal.